It's understood, and we pay the consequences for that. Police officers get charged. Um, they're similar, I'm sure, but it's not the same, and it's not the same police department. But somebody in Wyoming does something stupid, and it's how old you police are. Nobody likes to be painted with one big brush. Am I right? It doesn't matter who you are, black, white, blue, doesn't matter. Nobody likes to be painted with one big stroke of a brush. And so you had a question before I go. Use your mic, yeah, sorry.
You were saying when you put your hand, when you are stopped, put your hand on the steering wheel.
Yes.
Is it okay because my son was stopped? And his
Yeah,
license-
put the mic. Speak into the microphone.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
My son was stopped
Mm-hmm.
in Mount Juliet, and what he did, he stuck his hands out the window.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That's fine too.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine too.
And then when they ran
There's nothing
the
wrong with that.
plate-
That's actually better. Usually tell people to put that, but putting them out the window, letting you say, hey, nothing in my hands, is fine. Yeah,
Okay.
there's nothing wrong with that.
And then when they ran his tags and everything,
Mhm.
they knew he had a license to carry a gun,
Right.
and they asked him, and they was able to find all of that.
Okay.
So he didn't want no drama, so he stuck his hand out the window. And I was just wondering about that. Wouldn't that be better than the steering wheel thing?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Basically, you're doing what you're letting the officer know that you're not armed. You have nothing in your hands, nothing that could be perceived as a gun or anything like that. And that's for your safety, as well as mine, obviously. So, any other questions? And I know your time. We're getting close. I don't wear a taser right now, but the taser would be on this side if I had one. It's on the opposite side. We did that on purpose because I know which one I'm going for. My strong hand always goes to the gun side. If I'm using my taser, I have to reach across my body. So it's two different things. If I kept them both on the same side, can I easily pull out the wrong one? Right. So we usually carry the taser on the opposite side, so this way I know I can't get confused. All right, good question. Good tactical question. A couple more, anything else? My mace, you know that the mace is stronger. I don't want to hear about it. Yes, ma'am. East Nashville? Okay. Well, number one, as you've seen, she asked about the incident in James Casey, that over there. Again, I don't have anything to do with it. The TBI is running the investigation right now. I have my personal opinion on it, and I'm not going to share that with you because I'm in uniform and I'm representing the whole police department right now. But I can tell you this, honestly, because we just discussed it. It's not okay to jump out of a car, and it's certainly not okay to jump out of a car if you have a gun. Your chances of survival go down drastically if you're going to do something like that. Okay, now whether it was a good shoot or bad shoot, I'm not going to say. It's still under investigation. But I can tell you that that is a wrong thing to do. And you know that. You know that that's a wrong thing to do. Yes, he stopped out of a car and he had a gun. That's not a good thing. That is not recommended in the manual, folks. But really, that's this is something, like I said, I'm not going to say it was a good shoot or a bad shoot right now. Like I said, I have my own personal opinion, but.
In terms of race relations,
Mm-hmm. Say it.
okay.
Don't be.
If among your peers,
Okay.
there's somebody, who's talking, prejudiced or, racism, do you check one another or do you report that? What do you guys do? Or is it just this, y'all don't do nothing about each other? You know what I mean?
No. I'll be honest with you. I've been doing this for a long time, and the last 15 years, you don't hear it. Now, in the beginning, when I was a younger officer, you heard stuff, on both sides. But I don't know. I guess it's just becoming a lot less of a problem than what folks would like it to appear to be. Yes, I really, I say that honestly. I think it's perceived as a bigger problem than it really is, a much bigger problem than it really is. But it's one of those things where if we all held hands here and prayed, and they put that on the news, everybody say, "Oh, isn't that nice? They're praying together," but nobody's going to talk about it 5 minutes later. But if I hit you in the head right now, we'll be talking about that for months, years maybe, you know. So because yeah, right. So I mean, that's just people like that, and that's what sells. And understand that if I'm a media outlet, and I have nothing against the media outlet, they gotta do their thing, but I gotta sell advertising space. So if I punch the pastor in the head, that's going to be news for a while. But us holding hands and praying, that's not going to bring in the ratings. And that's just honest, am I right?
Right.
Right. So
That was one of my other questions. I was wondering, is all of this we're having this
the hoopla.
yes, has it been going on like this for years and we didn't know, or is it becoming more and more?
I think with the news sources that we have, social media and all that, it's not that there's any more of it. We're just more aware. Like I said, an incident that occurred in Michigan 10, 15 years ago, we wouldn't know about it. You probably wouldn't hear about it. Now it's all over YouTube. It's all over the world. People in Nepal know about it. So that's the difference. And people, social media, everything's out there very quickly. So I think Denzel Washington said it the best. He said, if you don't watch the news, you're uninformed. If you watch the news, you're misinformed. So a couple more questions.
Okay, I was just about to say was, is it possible? Reason that you hadn't heard from what the question she was asking. Police officers has kind of like a code, just like the out in the street. Some of them do. I know in Knoxville,
Have a what? I'm sorry.
kind of like a code.
A code. Oh, the
Kinda
police
like-
officer code. We don't rat on each other.
Right.
I got you.
Just like on the
And there is
street.
some of that.
And
There is some of that.
And the only reason I say that because when I lived in Knoxville, I lived in the projects,
Mhm.
and hearing certain things that was going on, I just happened to be. I was in my room, and the person that they was putting in the car, I didn't know they had killed this man
Mhm.
and drove him to the
Mhm.
store somewhere to drop him off, and overheard an officer say, "Just give him a few minutes and let him die," and I'm thinking, I ain't gonna
Right.
say nothing, because when I did, when I told one of my neighbors, and she told one of the guys that she knew had did the crime, they was at my door,
Mhm.
and I'm like, I didn't feel comfortable about that,
Right. I think everybody has some
Officers
bias
that-
once in a while. I mean, heck,
Yeah.
if you hate people who hate people, you still hate somebody,
Yeah,
right? If you if you hate people who are prejudiced, you still hate.
yeah, you do.
So everybody has some sort of bias. If I came in here and I had tattoos all over my body, swastika on my forehead, and I don't know, white supremacist tattoos all over my body, would you not have a preconceived notion of what I'm
Yes.
about? Would you
Yes.
not make judgment to me?
Yeah.
Now, I could have turned my life around. I could have done that when I was 18, but now I turned my life around, gave my life to Christ, and I'm a pastor. But your first thought is, not a good one, is it?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so we all have a little bit. I mean, and that's normal, and that's okay as long as we talk about it and realize that. But now, blatant racism and prejudice is a totally different thing. That's when you really specifically treat and target somebody and treat them differently for that specific race or whatnot, or religion or whatever it is. Question here.
Assuming you're speaking to a lot of congregations, minority congregations like this,
Mm-hmm.
do you find that the minority churches are in support of the police, or sometimes I feel it's a vocal minority that is saying there's racism out there. When I look at, with the risk of sounding like a sellout, that's what they may call me at work, every time I see an incident on TV
Right.
where someone's killed by police, they're resisting arrest, they're running from the police. I don't agree shooting someone in the back.
Right.
I
Well,
don't
yeah,
think it's a threat.
absolutely right. But the Coast Guard guy in South Carolina, that was a bad shoot. He got charged, rightfully so.
Yeah. But on every time, I'm not afraid when the police pull me over. I have nothing to hide other than I'm speeding.
Right.
I'm wrong. I don't think he's going to kill me for this.
Right.
And so, and whenever I've said, when he comes to my car, I have my license and my registration
in
out.
hand.
And I say, yes, officer, yes, I was speeding, I was wrong. I've changed the last 3 times I've pulled over. They did not, I know, that doesn't sound good.
Boy, we're learning a lot.
It was spread out.
This is confession time.
They gave me a warning. They said, slow it down.
Right.
But when I was a younger man, I'd have an attitude and going, yeah, you just pulling me over.
Right.
Because
I'm black. I've never heard that before.
Yeah. And I was wrong. I was guilty, sweetie, and I got a ticket that time. But
I had a couple of guys. I'm sorry. I actually had a couple of guys. I was working the DUI grant, which is extra money that the governor gives to just look for drunk drivers on the weekend. I pulled these guys, 4 guys with New York tag. They only pulled us over because we're from New York. I'm like, are you hearing the way I talk, you moron? Excuse me, I'm sorry. And then he realized, like, oh, because I got Brooklyn on him real quick. I got Brooklyn on me. He realized, oh, yeah, no, I guess not.
But
But
my
anyway,
question
go ahead.
was, do you find the minority churches in support of the police?
Yes, I really do. Yes, it's great to see. We have a lot of chaplains and pastors of churches that have come out and supported us and whatnot. Actually, Reverend Enoch Fuzz, who's been kind of outspoken about the East Nashville shooting, I mean, he'll give me a hug. If he walked in here right now, I guarantee he'll give me a hug. I mean, I've been to his church, listened to him. He's a great guy. Again, I have my personal opinion on what he's doing, but he's very supportive. I think he wanted to show, he wanted to reach an olive branch out. He brought donuts to our meeting the other time, which, very stereotypical, but, we ate them. But, I think that the relationship that, like I said, we're the Metropolitan Police Department in general, not just the North Precinct, but we're very connected with the community. We really try to do what we can to outreach. Conversations like this certainly help. And we like to do that, we just like to do that. We like to reach out to the community. We like to have conversations like this. And one of the things that I always like to quote Don Aaron, who's our public address person, one thing about our department is we air our dirty laundry. We put it out there pretty quickly. And Don always says that if it's good news, get it out there quick. But if it's bad news, get it out there quicker. So it doesn't seem or have the perception that we're hiding anything or, the public isn't aware of anything. So I think our relationship is good, and I think that's why, for the most part, we haven't seen the disruption that other cities see, especially over an incident like this, because I think so many people are supportive. And I can't tell you how many folks over the last couple of years have, from church groups and whatnot, have stopped by the precinct and brought by food and just, I've been out so many times. Just last week, I was ready to buy breakfast, and someone bought it for me before I even got up there. And that happens a lot. And so it's been actually very good. It's not nearly as bad as, like I said, it's shown to be.
Now, I understand the social media getting a hold of stuff these days and
Right.
blowing it up and how things are going. But road rage.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I don't think the social media got a lot to do with that. But why is it growing so much now?
It's a good question. That's a one that I wish I could answer. Oh, I don't know. All these shootings and things like that. Why are we? And these are questions that I can't answer. Why are we such a highly medicated society? We take more Prozac than Japan and Europe put together. Why are we so mentally ill?
I don't know.
We're supposed to be the richest nation in the world, supposedly. Shouldn't we be the happiest? Well, we know the answer to that.
We got a lot of mad drivers out there.
We got mad, yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous.
they
We just
mad
had
about
on Ed
everything.
Temple. I think that was a road rage. We had a shooting on Ed Temple. It was a road rage thing. I mean, it's beyond ridiculous, and I don't understand it myself. We've always had guns in this country, so I don't know if you could say, well, that's the problem. I mean, we've had guns for years. Second Amendment's been around a while. I think for one thing, we have more people.
Right.
More people mean that there's more violent people,
Right.
and so and the fact that we have the social media too. So I think maybe the combination of all, could be it. But that is a very good question, and I wish I could come up with the answer.
Everybody's
so I could,
in a hurry.
yeah, everyone's in a
Families.
hurry, and yeah, well, that's true. We're in a hurry,
Families.
and everybody, I noticed I'm sorry, did you? Yeah, your mic's not working. Scream.
Don't get out your car.
We had one question over here. I'm sorry. Oh, is that okay? Yeah. But yes, ma'am.
Okay, if
Then
you're
I got you.
okay, if you're at a light,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and you're getting ready to make a left turn, and all of a sudden you hear the sirens and the paramedics.
Mhm.
Now, some people they get paranoid and they want to stop and go to the right, but you need to just stop and just let them go because you hear sirens go back and forth. So
If you're not sure where they are, then yes,
just
stop.
Yes.
Now,
But
if you know they're
see-
behind you, you try to get to the right as far as possible. If you can. If you
yeah,
can't,
but
you
some
can't.
of them cause accidents. Just
Well, that's
try
right.
to,
As far as possible, that you can do safely. You don't want to get
Yes.
into the other guy who's not moving over,
yeah.
right? So even in your little lane, you have maybe just a little bit of wiggle room. You move over a little bit as far as you can. So at least you leave them with a little bit of space. But yeah, that's the best thing to do. Or if you're not sure where they are, just stop.
Stop.
Yes, sir.
We had a question for one of the viewers where they were asking about.
One of the viewers, is this live somewhere? Am I on like CNN? What is going on?
So one of the things was if you could address, is it legal as far as recording incidents with police officers?
Good question. Good question. Yeah, we don't, and that's one of the things that gets me mad at police. Yeah, I get mad at police. I get mad when we get mad over things like that. Because yeah, you could record us. There's nothing that says it's against the law to record us. Now, if you're interfering with a crime scene, that's another issue. If you get in the way of something like that, but you could record me, and I've had people record me before. I say hello, and I just tell them, I said, this is going to be a really boring video, but you could record me if you'd like. So yeah, I hate when I see police officers get all, what are you recording? They grab the camera like that. Hopefully it happens less and less, but every now and then you're still going to get it. Yeah, it's totally lawful to record us. We are out in public. We have no expectation of privacy when we're out in public. Neither do you. So I could record you back.
Okay. The second question was about sometimes where the police officers kind of overreact because of actually being filmed during whatever type of stop. So
Mhm.
what are your thoughts on that, or is there anything going on to give some type of extra training as far as, kind of keep it calm, cool, and don't overreact just because you're being recorded, seeing that it is legal for someone to use their own cell phone and pull it out?
Yeah, and I think that's what we've done we have training every year called in-service training that we have to attend. It's 1 week out of the year. And during our in-service, we always mention that it's perfectly legal. We have a law class, and the law class is perfectly legal to be filmed. Just, act professionally always anyway. But they do talk to police officers that as long as they are doing lawful things, don't bother them. Now, if you're doing unlawful things, just because you have a camera in your hand doesn't mean that, we can't take care of business. So as long as you're lawful. Yes, sir.
Okay, we want to be sensitive to both the sergeant's time and yours.
Yeah.
So I saw two people, or any other, I saw Elder Tucker and Sister Fowler. Any other questions? Okay,
Okay,
so
then.
can we agree that we'll close with those? We're good? Okay. You want her go? Okay, but he's yielding to you, so we.
Some time ago on Facebook, I don't know what the results of it were or whatever, but it kind of went viral where there was a man driving and a woman on the wife, I guess, was, in the passenger seat.
Minnesota.
Was that what it was?
St. Paul.
I didn't
Where
see
she
what
filmed
it was.
when he was
Yeah,
shot?
when he was shot.
And he was
Whatever.
charged, and it's pending trial. They did charge him and fired him. And the thing is, and people ask me about that one, and I said, again, in and of itself, of that video, while it looks horrible, I cannot make a determination as to whether the police officer was wrong or not. Because she starts with, the one thing about filming, you could turn the camera on and off when you want. So I don't know what led to, nobody knows what led to that, but apparently the police department in their investigation came up with the fact that he was wrong. But a lot of people were jumping up and down that he was wrong right away, and I just said, how do you come up to that conclusion? When, and her demeanor during the whole thing was kind of bizarre, to say the least. You just shot my boyfriend. I'm just sitting here, and my boyfriend is shot. And who reacts like that? And you know, I don't know. And it almost seems like they were maybe baiting. You know, when you bait a police officer into trying to get him to do something wrong, possibly. Which doesn't mean we need to take the bait either. Don't get me wrong, but. That looks like they were trying to bait him. I don't know what he said. Like I said, he said that he was armed. Supposedly he let the officer know, but that doesn't mean that the officer says, okay, just don't reach for it. And he says, well, you know, I'm reaching for it anyway. I don't know. But anyway, they did charge him and fired him, yes. So, and then the other question.
As you were talking about prejudging, or if you came in with the swastika on your head, well, when I get stopped, hadn't been as many times as Mike.
I don't think anybody's been stopped as many times.
And I see those lights, it means different things to me.
Right.
As a black man, and the officer gets out, and as you say, he's already up here, and then if he sees a black male, he's already, if he's up here, now he's up here.
You're assuming that because you're a black male that it heightens it to some other degree.
But you said if you're assuming that if you have a swastika, we've already prejudged you. If I'm sitting in the car and I'm a black male, he's already prejudged me. For as far as I know,
you're assuming he's prejudged you. You made an assumption.
Well,
you're assuming that all of us have a
because I can't. It's my life.
Right.
So I'm sitting there
so
like, okay. And first, Lord, please, you got to get me out of this.
Do what you're asked to do, and you'll be fine.
But that's the thing. If you do what you're asked to do, you're afraid. Because if you're doing what you're asked to do, and he comes up and he's yelling and he's got an attitude. Okay, so I got
yelling and attitude is a totally different
and that's what I'm
thing.
saying,
Obviously,
because he's prejudged.
But I promise you that doesn't. I promise you that almost never happens.
No, you can't promise me that because
almost. I promise you, almost never happens.
You can't promise me that. You can't promise me that.
Promise
that
almost
happen.
never does.
Because I've been pulled over on Bradley Parkway, and he comes and I got the windows down. I even put my keys on the dashboard.
Right.
So you can't say I pulled off and shoot me.
Right.
So I'm already thinking, okay, I got to do what he says. I got to do what he says. And he comes up yelling and screaming,
and you should
as if, you know.
And you should complain on that officer because there's no reason why he should come to you yelling and screaming.
And if I complain, is there anything we hear about indictments? But nothing has come of that. I mean, and like you said earlier,
we just fired an officer for a Facebook post. We've had officers arrested for DUIs. We had officers lose plenty of suspension times.
They lose their job and then they go to Laverne or Smyrna or whatever and
I can't control them complaining.
And get another job. So it doesn't seem like there's a. Okay, yeah, it's out there. Don Aaron or somebody says he's got fired or he's no longer with this force. But then he goes down the road or to another police force, so it's just being recycled. So when I get pulled over, I don't know what, and this guy's coming up and he's,
right. He's recycled junk?
And, no, well, I wouldn't say junk, but as you say, he's already up here. And then you talked about prejudging.
Well, when I say up here, we have to just have a level of just preparedness is what I'm saying. And we have to be prepared. I can't walk like, it's just going to be.
Well, no, I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying
I can't nonchalantly walk up to you when you saw that video.
And he's already up here.
Right.
And, okay, the traffic stop has caused his adrenaline to come. I mean, y'all do get adrenaline.
If it's a felony traffic stop and I know that this person, if it's somebody, if I'm stopping an armed robber, then yes, my adrenaline's going. But traffic stops are routine. Now, we have a heightened level of preparedness. That doesn't mean we're
nervous.
That doesn't mean we're zoinked out of our minds, so to speak, and not thinking clearly. Traffic stops are very common. We do them all the time. We did 420,000 last year. So it's not like I'm on a traffic stop. Okay. All it means is that I'm just more aware. I realize that traffic stops can go badly very quickly, and I'm on a heightened state of preparedness. That doesn't mean I'm geeked up. It doesn't mean my adrenaline is through the roof. It just means that I'm being prepared and being cautious.
Maybe when you spoke earlier,
and being
when
tactical.
you said he was up here.
I maybe misspoke of the way I said that. What I'm trying to say is it was in a heightened way of alert, rather than where, geeked out on adrenaline. That's
Well, I mean,
That's what I meant.
But you have to take in consideration sometimes when those traffic stops occur, there is adrenaline.
If I pull over a bank robber, yeah, there's going to be adrenaline. If I pull over a guy who I know is armed, there's going to be adrenaline. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, first of all, we want to thank Sergeant Kornberg. I appreciate the fact, and we're going to bring him back because we want some more of our young people to be here the next time. I do appreciate the fact that he was willing to take on the hard questions because there are hard questions, and when we bring you back, there'll be some more hard questions. But we want to express our appreciation. And let's do this to close out. I think we all are sensitive to the difficult task that the police have. And we appreciate you for being honest to say that everybody doesn't always handle that difficult task well. One of the reasons why we wanted to bring somebody from the police department here is to begin that dialogue. And we appreciate you for allowing us to have that dialogue. What we want to do is we want to close by praying for Sergeant Kornberg and with him the rest of the people who risk their lives to keep us safe. And we want to acknowledge that. So what we're going to do is we're going to stand. We're going to kind of put you in the middle. We're just going to kind of pray for you. Okay? So we'll just put you in the middle. And Elder Majors, the female, we're going to ask you because I already asked I asked your husband to pray already. So we're going to ask you, we're going to put you in the middle. So we're going to ask you, Elder Majors, if you'll pray for Sergeant Kornberg, please. Okay? Let's pray.
Father in heaven, we want to thank you so much for being our God and our Lord and our Creator. And thank you for this Sabbath. We also thank you for being our protector and putting men and women on this earth who also in that category as a protector of society. We know that their jobs are dangerous. I don't think about the police officer every day putting his life on the line, but they do. And I pray in the name of Jesus, first for the officers in Nashville. I pray for their safety. I pray for their wise decision making. And I pray for their leaders. I pray for the North Nashville precinct, Father, and whoever is the leader or director of that precinct and the officers who come forth from that. I pray that you would protect them, that you would give them wisdom, Father, that you would give them a heart after the people, and that you would be with the people in this precinct to be able to see these officers as their protectors, their friends, and not their enemies. I pray for Sergeant Kornberg specifically. He said he has children, he has a family. I pray and I thank you for his willingness to come among the community and put a different face on the police. Take away a little bit of the anxiety or fear. I pray that you would continue to bless him, protect him, be with those places where he walks. May he take your spirit with him, oh God. And we just pray that he would continue to put a different face on the police force in Nashville, and
kind of redefine that for all of us. Thank you again for this day and your blessings of being here with us, and take us home safely and bring us back at the appointed time. We love you and we honor you as God and our Father. In your name, amen.
Again, we thank you, Sergeant, for coming. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Men, we'll meet you back here at 9 o'clock. Have a good evening.
9 o'clock tonight.